And I think these crazy times are having people question the mainstream narrative more and more. The term conspiracy theory has never been more mainstream, right? And some people on the outside of it think that every conspiracy that's ever been talked about is false. It's not true, right? Very close-minded people. Some people have done the research to realize that many conspiracies have turned out to be true, like FBI mind control programs, MK Ultra, stuff like that. Like, these are released documents where the US government literally drugged people without their awareness to try to control their minds and studied them, and the people didn't know. And the moment you look at a few of those studies and a few of these findings, you realize that there's been fuckery all about, all the time, and it's never stopped. So to people who think that we live in a society where there are no conspiracy theories or there's no secrets, none of that stuff's real, I ask them, when do you think it went from being the kings and queens in the castle and us slaves in the field to all of a sudden everybody's equal? To know it's a fair system. When do you think that switch happened? Right? Ronald Reagan, JFK, Clinton, Obama, like what era, like what group, like internationally, how did that happen? And then you just look at it and you're like, why is Hollywood trying to tell us in every single movie that the good guy always wins? How do I feel after seeing Tom Cruise beat the bad guy? Right? I feel fucking good. I sit down, I smoke some weed, I hang out. Oh, the good guy won. That made me feel good, right? Yeah. And what if that's the lie? What if the bad guys are in charge? And what if the media is being used as a propaganda to help lull us into either quiet retreat or into division and riots and anger, right? And that's where we're at. I mean, they're announcing that they're extending lockdowns. They're talking about putting in curfews, all this stuff. The mortality rate of COVID is less deadly than it's ever been. More people have died, but it's less deadly. The mortality rate is less because the cases are growing exponentially. Every chart you look at with cases right now, it's like a hockey stick. It's straight up. And the mortality rate is just tickling along the bottom. So many, many more people are apparently getting it, but then you need to ask yourself in testing and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, there's a lot of granular shit there, but more and more people are getting it, and not equal amounts more are dying. It's not relative, right? So it's very interesting. COVID's getting safer by the day.
And it's, I mean, so many people talking about it. And if you dig into the data, and our friend Brian, who is a respiratory therapist, he's done like a lot of research, going into the science and how to read scientific reports and things like that. And he was saying that, like, statistically, and the politicians don't want to acknowledge this, but like COVID is, like you were just saying, the mortality rate, it's so low. It's like ridiculously low. And it's not like I want to put out there like that it's not dangerous, and like there are people that die from it. It is a virus, I believe, like for sure. But is it as deadly as we've been led to believe, that we need to like hide away, we can't hug people, that we can't, travel to see our family during the holidays? Fuck no.
I don't even think we're supposed to be doing this.
We're not supposed to be doing
this. Isn't it meeting groups of 0 or something like that? Like,
well, outside your household.
Outside of your household.
Yeah, definitely we're not supposed to be doing
this. We're technically breaking the law.
Breaking the law, people.
Right. Just kidding. Michael lives in this basement. We'll attach a disclaimer in the video. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's one of those things where if people remain quiet, it's not going to get better. Right? And talking about it does help, and sharing, our views on it does help, even just for me, because it's easy to get caught in the mustard. It's easy to get caught in all that bullshit. But instead, we need to focus on what we can do, right? And when you get squeezed and when shit crumbles around you, you need to adapt. You need to retool.